welcome back to Afternoon Express, and I trust you're having a fantastic Monday afternoon. Don't forget to connect with us throughout the show on social media. Who knows, we might be reading your comments live on air. Now, Pepe Marais, the founding partner and Group Chief Creative Officer of Brand and Communications Group, Joy Public United, has a passion to inspire people towards entrepreneurship. In his book, Growing Greatness, he shares his wisdom as a businessman who began his entrepreneurial journey at the age of 12. Pepe joins me live to talk about his entrepreneurship and how we need to change our thinking caps when it comes to business during and post-COVID-19. Welcome to The Loft, Pepe.
Thank you so much.
Now, your incredible book is a life story of how you started as a newspaper delivery boy at the age of 12 to the incredible success that you are today. How has that journey birthed the person that we see?
So, look, it's a journey still in the making. I suppose that's why I called my book Growing Greatness. By no means do I think I'm a great human being. I think it's an ongoing journey of growth. It's been a very trying and testing journey of incredible ups, but equally incredible downs, having gone bankrupt in 2009 and rebuilding the business with my partners to what it is today. But I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change a thing about it, about my journey, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's been enriching.
Has it always been something that was quite entrenched in you from a young age? I mean, 12 years old, a lot of us are still playing hide and seek. So what made you want to step into this at such a young age?
So I think, it's quite insightful, and I wrote my book based on this insight. I think the first step of entrepreneurship often starts with an individual that comes from less than. Maybe don't have as much as his or her peers. And if I look at the greater population of our country and the context of the majority of our country and where people come from, it might seem terrible at face value, and it is factually, but it could just be the inspiration that someone might need to move into entrepreneurship. So I started working at that age because I needed to create my own income because my mother couldn't afford it. She was a single mother of 3 children and a school teacher. And hence I started working to make my own money to buy the things that the Joneses had. And that's where it started, and it never ended.
Yeah. And in your book, Growing Greatness, you talk about business challenges that you had to overcome. So whether it being, or are there parallels that you can draw from about your experiences personally to current day reality and learnings that you have to tap in to help your business survive during this COVID time?
Absolutely. I mean, there's such parallels. I mean, we are so conscious going into this period where no one can predict what is coming, and it shows up now today what a gift it was to go through 2008 and 2009's recession, and we don't know if this is going to be worse than then. But I mean, the lessons, to me, first lesson, partnership with business partnership is like a marriage. And without my partner of 22 years, Gareth Leck, I would be nothing, and equally not without all my other partners. We've got a bunch of people in our business that holds equity in our business. So I've learned partnership is probably the number one criteria of success or surviving at times like this. I think diversity is another big one for me. I find with diverse partnership, you get different inputs, different point of views, different thinking in times like this. And probably one of the most critical ones, although it's the last one on my mind, but cash flow. I think we've skirted close to going under a decade ago, and based on that, Gareth's been extremely frugal with our financial department in hoarding money and actually making sure our business is cash flush. And I think a lot of businesses are going to go under because of lack of managing their cash properly. But I mean, there's just so many lessons. I suppose also the one that it will all turn. Yeah. It will all get better again. And we will build ourselves up again. So whatever losses we make today, we will make up for it in the future, as long as we continue to give our best to our clients. So whatever service you're in, as long as you give your best, I think you should be fine.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for that.
Correct.
Absolutely, yeah. So there are a lot of small business owners, though, that don't necessarily classify as essential service. So what options do they have to reinvent themselves and their companies during this time?
You know, such a tough one, such a tough one. My gym, my small little box at the moment is really struggling. So the SMEs are really, really going to struggle because at that scale of business, you often don't have the cash to even to build up cash in that business. And that's why they're going to struggle. I don't think there's going to be enough government support for the amount of businesses that are going to suffer. And I think all you can do as an entrepreneur is just get up, dust yourself off, and go forward, and maybe really start thinking about diversifying your offering. I mean, I saw a restaurant in this time, a Johannesburg-based restaurant, newly launched restaurant, no trade, overnight recreated their shop into a food emporium. So they redesigned themselves overnight and could continue to trade. I look at my personal trainer at the moment. He's training me virtually, like this conversation now, and I continue paying him. So I think the majority of entrepreneurs and small business people are not going to get the support from anyone, and they're going to have to help themselves, and they're going to have to dig deep and think creatively how they're going to solve their issues to go forward.
It seems like you have to keep asking yourself how to reinvent yourself. What does that look like? And how does this communicate to the brand that you are trying to push forward and feed everyone? So for other business owners, small business owners specifically, who might not have that support, what other advice do you have for them?
My number one, my silver bullet in life, as in business, is purpose. I wrote my book based on that. I believe that we are going through this time now because we believe we're in business to make money, and that's the biggest lie that's ever existed in the world of business, from small business to big corporations. We exist for far more than making money as businesses. We exist to add more value beyond profit. And my number one, I would advise any person in business today, as we go through this and not knowing what's coming, start digging deep and start finding out why you truly exist as a business. What is your uber value that you can bring to the world? You might find it's not just your product, it's something beyond. And if you find that, I believe it will help you sustain in these tough times.
Yo, Pepe, I have to thank you for answering your calling, because I think that you are perfectly aligned with your business right now. Dropping those silver bullet gems, definitely incredibly valuable at this time. Now, you're also very passionate about education and creating an educational system that is a shining example to the rest of the world with your program, One School at a Time. So what is your perspective on the current education challenges that are currently taking place in the context of this pandemic?
Look, I wouldn't want to speak just about the current challenges. Are children, the fortunate ones, the 1%, or let's say the 5% at the top of our economic system. The fortunate ones are being trained virtually, and they're struggling with it, but we're getting through that. But I think there's an issue far greater than a corona crisis, and that's called the South African educational crisis. And I must say, I've been watching our government respond to corona, and I can only speak highly of their response. I know there's a lot of critics coming out at the moment. There's certain things where they're making maybe what some people think are mistakes. I do believe we should get out of the lockdown now, because we need to look after people's livelihoods and not just lives. But besides that, they've done an astounding job in the past 6-7 weeks. But in terms of education, they have not. And I think we need a severe step up, because our educational system is factually dysfunctioning, and it is perpetuating a dysfunctioning economical system. And it's something I'm extremely passionate about, and you'll have to give me another 10 minutes just to speak about that. But I have made it part of my life's mission to make a difference in that area.
Yeah, as we feed the children that come under us and the generations that come after us, we're going to ensure that the future is bright indeed. Finally, before we let you go, Pepe, Mr. Marais, do you have any words of encouragement to South Africans, but more specifically business owners and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed at the moment to sit here at our weekend home on the Vaal River. I've been working 24/7 from here for the past 7 weeks, and I'm in nature, and I'm always, we forget to look towards nature. After the severest veld fire, there's always new growth. I know it's going to be tough, but I have no doubt that there's going to be great things that come from the lessons we're learning this time. And as I said in my book, the worst thing that can happen is often the best thing. And I think we're going through a phase of needing more consciousness in this world. And I think people will get through this with new lessons to take forward in a new world.
Thank you so much for that, reminding us to reconnect with nature and expect a rebirth, something to sprout after this drought. Thank you so much again, Pepe Marais.
Thank you.
Cheers. Now stand a chance to win an autographed copy of Growing Greatness by entrepreneur and advertising trailblazer Pepe Marais. To enter, all you need to do is to comment with the best piece of advice that you have gotten regarding business. So to repeat that, to enter, all I need you to do is just to comment the best piece of business advice you've ever received. Competition ends at 12 midnight on the 20th of May. T's and C's can be found on Afternoon Express, and use that hashtag Afternoon Express. Now, we must remember that sometimes life isn't always rainbows and sunshine. It is important to use these times of life lessons to grow and shape you into the greatness that you are. Now, we just can't let go of the fascinating Nandi Madita. As promised, we have her coming up after the break, and we're going to continue this incredible conversation.